Welcome to All About Bankruptcy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of All About Bankruptcy with Luke Homen, Oklahoma bankruptcy attorney and president of Convenient Bankruptcy. I'm your host, Mike Leon. Luke here has been practicing law since 2008. He was voted the best bankruptcy attorney in Oklahoma. I think I finished second, Luke, maybe, by the Oklahoman in the Reader's Choice Awards. And he's helped countless Oklahomans stop wage garnishments and creditor harassment and find real financial freedom. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a question I'm sure Luke gets all the time, which is, hey, how much does it actually cost to file bankruptcy in the state of Oklahoma? So, Luke, good to see you as always. Let's start at the beginning. What are the basic court filing fees here that someone has to pay when they do file bankruptcy?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Okay, so my favorite answer, it depends. It's going to depend here on what chapter of bankruptcy we file. If you are filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the filing fee that we pay to the court is $338. If you're filing a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, your filing fee is $313 that we pay to the court.
Beyond the court filing fee, are there other costs associated people should expect? Is credit counseling, financial management?
We talk about attorney fees because fees are different than costs in lawyer land. Those are two different terms. Other costs that we incur, you've got to pay for 2 counseling classes. You take one before you file bankruptcy and one after, and those are through a private company. So those costs range from $15 to $30 per class, something like that. Now, some attorneys like me, we pay for the class for the client as part of the representation, but those 2 classes cost money. And then another thing that we pay for is we have to purchase a special bankruptcy credit report that pulls all your creditors so that we try and list every single one of your debts, which we're required to. And that costs money also to purchase a credit report, somewhere between $30 and $50 for this special report.
Yeah. Why are you went a second ago, you mentioned about Chapter 7, Chapter 13. Why are they priced differently? And can you explain why the attorney fees are structured in the bankruptcy differently?
Yeah. So starting with why the filing fee itself is different, in Chapter 7s, there's a Chapter 7 bankruptcy trustee who is appointed. And that trustee actually gets paid $60 by the court to be the bankruptcy trustee. And so part of that filing fee on a Chapter 7 is $60 going to the trustee to work your case. Now, attorney fees are going to be different. So do we want to do attorney fees next?
Yeah, you could talk.
All right. So I like to say that every case is beautiful and different. Everybody is a beautiful and unique snowflake. And I really mean that without being insulting. And every case really is different. Every situation is different. And so I don't believe in just saying every bankruptcy is $9.99. This isn't a pizza, right? If you want a pizza, you can get one for $9.99. But every bankruptcy case is going to be different. You might have 2 cars and 3 houses, or you might be on Social Security and not even have 2 nickels. And those 2 cases are going to get priced very differently because there's a tremendous difference in the amount of work involved. So the first answer is what your bankruptcy is going to cost you is going to depend on how complex your situation is. How much money do you make? How many assets do you have? What does your debt picture look like? Do you have some crazy creditor who's been suing you since the 90s and won't let go? I'll probably have to charge you more because that creditor is going to make a lot of work for us. So Chapter 7, we're going to have one flat fee that we charge before we file the case. And that's industry standard. You're going to have one flat fee. And by law, you have to pay your attorney all of the attorney fees before they can file the case for you. That's across the entire United States. The bankruptcy code says I can't file a Chapter 7 unless I'm paid in full. So we're going to set a customized price based on your situation, and you have to pay for your attorney before we file.
Yeah.
Chapter 13 is different. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, and I'm sure there's payment plan options as well for people.
Yes, absolutely. So I like to set people up on a recurring payment plan because you're going to be so much more successful if you make a plan. Now, this isn't like a creditor who's just going to take your money without your permission. We set up a voluntary payment plan. If you need to change it, you can pay extra. kick back a payment, skip a payment. We could do all of those things. But we always encourage every single client to make a plan, because then you're going to plan to succeed. You're going to be so much more successful, even if it's just $50 a week, some amount that we work together to figure out. We set up a payment plan, we get that money. Along the way, we're getting your case ready. And then after we have your money and your documents, we file your case.
Yeah. Do costs differ throughout the state, Oklahoma City to Tulsa, or is it just standard across the board?
No, the costs are going to be pretty similar across the entire state. We've got 3 bankruptcy courts in the state of Oklahoma. We've got Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Muskogee. It's the same filing fees and costs. So that's going to be pretty standard across Oklahoma. And those filing fees that you get paid to the court, that's going to be pretty standard across the entire country.
Luke, a second ago, you mentioned about the pizza price of $9.99. It's a great analogy because I think people are always trying to find that cheaper price. But what problems do they run
Right.
into if they hire an inexperienced attorney because of price?
Well, and it's not just inexperienced. Some attorneys set up as their business model, we are going to do the cheapest minimum quality bankruptcy that we can. What is the minimum amount of work that we can do to get your 999? I like to style myself as a full service bankruptcy law firm. If you hire us, you get every single thing that you need. We answer all your questions. We answer all your phone calls. We respond to emails. We do all the court filings. We help you build your credit afterwards. We do every single bit of work that you're going to need to get out of debt. It is what you're going to get with us. Whereas if you're just shopping for the lowest price, you're going to be shopping for somebody who says, what is the minimum possible work I can put into this to get my 999? And I don't think that's the attorney that you want to hire.
Yeah. Luke, have you seen cases or maybe have some examples you can share where people tried to save money up front and then it actually ends up costing more money in the long run when they come back and choose you? Have you seen any
Yeah.
examples of that?
So a couple examples come to mind. One, a guy who wanted to hire me and then went with the local guy. And 3 months later, the local guy still hadn't filed his case, even though he had all the money and all the documents. And my guy kept getting garnished every single payday. And the local guy was just so busy with his other cases, he just didn't consider the bankruptcy a priority. And so that guy came back and said, hey, can you actually get my case filed? I'm like, yeah, of course. Come on back. Other examples that I've seen is somebody talks to us and then they try and file the bankruptcy on their own. And when you do that, you create an incredible amount of problems, because once you file the bankruptcy, you can't go back. Once you file a Chapter 7, you can't dismiss it. And so you create problems that I might not be able to fix. We can make things better. We can come in and try and clean things up, but there may be massive problems that you create that are unfixable if you try to do this on your own, or you try to hire one of those bargain guys.
Yeah. And Luke, when you meet with clients, just like you're outlining here, how do you truly help them understand like there's this price of filing it, but there's the value of what you're going to get from getting it done right. So you don't have to do it
Yeah.
a second time.
Well, the first thing that we do is we listen, right? We always tell everybody we need to understand your situation. And so I think when we stop and we listen and we answer all the questions and we say, hey, here's how we're going to solve all your problems. And yes, the price is this, but this is why it's this price. It's because we're going to do this for you and this and this. And again, that's situationally different. What one person needs, another person doesn't. And so I think the key is we stop, we listen, we gather all the information before we talk about a price, before we talk about a strategy. The first thing we need to do is understand what's going on with you.
Right. For Oklahomans out there that are listening to this, Luke, and they feel bankruptcy, even after everything you just said, they feel it's out of reach financially. What's a
Yeah.
piece of advice you would give to them so that way they can see that it's a realistic path going forward?
Well, I would say call us or hop on our website and set up a consultation. Consultation is free. We could talk about strategies. We could talk about price. Uh, it's worth the time investment. People are more worried about things that may not even matter. And you just don't know until you call us and you spend the time talking through your options and your unique situation.
Right. Luke, thank you for the time and insights on this. As always, truly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And thank you to everybody out there listening to another installment of All About Bankruptcy. You heard what Luke just said. If you're thinking about filing, you're worried about the cost, do me a favor, visit convenientbankruptcy.com today to schedule a free consultation with Luke and the team. With the right plan, you can stop the stress and take back control of your finances. As always, like, subscribe, leave us a review and comment. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Mike Leon. We'll see everybody next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.